Everybody, Andy here again, down on the beach once again. Well, the other day I was listening to a podcast. Something I started to do recently is sort of listen to different podcasts. Very interesting they are, but that's another topic. But the particular one I was listening to, and I'm not really sure why, but it was all to do with careers and social media. I'm not really going to talk about that particularly, but one of the ideas that came out of it, it is something that I've thought about myself, is personal branding. Because whether we like it or not, if we're on a site like this and we're producing videos, or you're on the internet, you have become a type of a brand. As I said, we might not be happy with that, but you are. My name, Andy Mooseman. I've been using that now on the internet for 3.5 years, obviously mainly here on YouTube, but I use it on other sites. I've got my own blog, I use it on various different sites as well, and I've become a bit protective of that name. And that's one of the points of this, because when you start to realise that you have become a brand in some ways, then you have to start thinking about these things, because what we put up on the internet, one of those old things that's happening nowadays, and more people are finding out, because we were all amateurs, and we're still all amateurs I guess as well, but we're having to think about this in a slightly more professional, maybe more mature way than what we did originally. We're learning all the time. More and more people are coming onto the internet. It's become more of a commercial enterprise. Companies are really getting into the whole social media type of thing, the advertising and everything like that. I'm a partner here on YouTube. I allow advertising on some of my videos, not all of them. I don't allow all the advertising that they allow. But why do I do that? You know, it's one of those things that you tend to do, but it's when you start to analyse it, and you start to think about this whole branding idea. We've seen what can happen with brands, with sort of Toyota motor cars, or even someone like Tiger Woods. He's a brand in that respect as well, as are lots of celebrities, should we say, musical bands and things like that. Coldplay or U2, they are a band. They protect that name religiously because they don't want anyone else to get hold of it. I'm one of those people that if a new site comes along, I tend to go there and create an account. I have accounts for loads and loads of different sites which I never go onto, but I've been there to get my name, to protect my name in some ways. Okay, a lot of those sites I thought I might want to use them, and I may have used them for a little bit as well, but have left them and have concentrated on the main ones. But you're there, you're protecting yourself. As I said, you have to be careful about what you put up here. And so that's one reason for protecting it. Does it matter? I suppose if you don't care too much, it doesn't matter. But increasingly, these brands are becoming more and more worthwhile. Who knows what the future might hold? You might get a great offer for something or other, an offer that you can't refuse, shall we say. You might not be looking for it, but if someone comes along, maybe because of that brand that you've made, the content that you put up there, I'm careful about the sort of content that I put up, and I'm conscious that I'm known for making a certain type of video. I still have that, you know, with the name, the Andy Mooseman, I still regularly have to tell people that that's not my real name. They think of me as Andy Mooseman. They see an Andy Mooseman video or a blog or whatever it might be, and they have an idea about what they're going to get. The same as a new album comes out by your favourite band or a new book by your favourite author. It's all those intellectual property right type of things that we have to think of. One of the points that these people are making in this particular podcast, that's about the branding, that we have to realise that, and protecting it as well for the career side of things. Okay, I don't use my real name here, but I do on Facebook. But that's one of the points that the people were making. Maybe this is the topic for another blog, but I'm going to do it here anyway, is that if you're on Facebook, you really have to be careful about what you do. I separate my work and my real life, shall we say that, my outside life, to the extent that I actually checked the other day. I'm not one, I don't go around searching for friends. I very rarely request someone to become a friend on Facebook, and consequently I've only got, although I'm quite happy with, the fact that I've only got about 95 friends on Facebook. I just happened to check the other day because this thought came into my head, and I've only ever met 40 or just over 40 of those people. So under 50% of the people on there I've never met. So there's something there to be said for that. That's the way that these careers people were saying you should do. Don't get work involved with your Facebook site, because it's something that you might not want people to see. And even if you are there, I protect certain things. I don't put certain things up on the internet. The only things that I do put up are things that I'm happy for people to see. Yes, they might show me in a slightly, not so good light or something, and they might be photographs from years ago, but they're not things that I'm ashamed of. They're not something that a potential employer will look at and think, I'm not sure about that, this guy, because that's what they do, and that's what we need to be aware of here, is that firms nowadays, any careers people, any prospective employers are going to look at social media now, and that's something that a lot of people haven't got into their heads. That brand that you're putting out there, people are searching for that. You might not think of it as a brand, and that's the whole point of this video, I think, is that you don't think of yourself as a brand, you don't think that it matters, but it does matter. It's something that could affect your life a great deal in the future, and you need to be careful of that. Even if you put things on the internet and you think, oh dear, I'm going to delete that, that's still out there. Don't be fooled by the fact that just because you've deleted it, and you might even have taken it off of your computer, it will still be out there on the internet. You only have to Google your name on here, like my Andy Mooseman username, and you see where all your videos or your comments or things that you've put up on the internet on various different sites, how much that has spread. Obviously it depends on your popularity, the amount of views or whatever it is you get, and maybe how many videos, etc., how prolific you are as well. But even if you've only put one video up there and deleted it, I guarantee that it will be somewhere out there in cyberspace. That's an old-fashioned term now, isn't it? So be aware of that. Maybe some people want to exploit it. I increasingly think that maybe I could. Maybe because I think about it now, I'm conscious of the fact that I need to protect this. As I said, I'm conscious of this name. I've sent emails and that recently about people about particular words. They think, I created that word. People are becoming very possessive about that because they see the potential. They might not be interested in the monetary value of whatever your brand is at the moment, but in the future that might become very, very potentially worthwhile to you. Not something you're thinking of now, but we do have to think about the future. Have fun in the present, but think about what you're doing and think about what that effect that might have in the future. So Andy Mooseman may be a brand name. You might not be happy with the fact that that's the case, either for me or for yourself. I'm not a great one for commercialisation, whether it be on YouTube or anywhere else, but I do accept that that's the way these things are going. It becomes intrusive, it becomes annoying, but that's the way of the world. The internet is still free in lots of different ways, but there are lots of people getting in there trying to create money out of it. So and maybe you can exploit that yourself in the future, and why not? If you want to do that, and I've seen people going that way themselves, why not? It's up to you. If you see you've got a brand name, you can protect it, you can exploit it within reason. I don't want to see people being silly, but if they're and spamming me with bots and all that type of thing, I hate that, as I've said recently as well. But if you're doing it sensibly, you can create another income, get another job. After all, that's one of the things that the internet is there for. It's a great leveler in that respect. It gives people like you, people like me, the opportunity maybe to do something different. That opportunity which has never existed in the future. So think about that when you create that name. Think about the name you're creating for a start. Make sure it's the right one. Thankfully, I'm quite happy with the Andy Mooseman name. But and it's one I'm quite happy to live with in the future. But let's see where this goes. Andy Mooseman as a brand. I'll have to put a little trademark by it or something like that. So if anyone wants to sort of endorse products and things, you never know. You might want to put a t-shirt out there. Anyway, and I know people who already do. I'm going to leave it there. Food for thought there. You are a brand, whether you think about it or not, whether you like it or not. Pause for thought there. Anyway, I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.